So now let me give the story that has to do with the directive. I think it was in 2003 I was directed to go over to Scotland. I stayed in the ROSSLYN, Scotland area for a couple of months and was introduced to a wonderful lady who ended up showing me around Scotland. And during that time I would go down to ROSSLYN Chapel and stand in there and walk around the grounds, and I had this incredible realization that I'd been there before, and that there was a dam that actually created a moat around the castle. Sure enough, I looked over and there were the remnants of that dam. Anyway, one day she and I went into the chapel, and it was surreal what happened. I was actually told 3 days before by that voice in my head to expect something out of the ordinary to happen and just try to flow with it. And so that day we walked in, and we were just standing around in the inner chamber, and all of a sudden I felt Hermes, Thoth, enter me, and all at once, I think there were 11 or 12 people standing around as if waiting for something, and I basically, took a back seat, and out of my mouth comes, would everyone join in a circle around in here so that I can say a prayer? So everybody just fell right into place, and we had this ring around the center of the a chapel that was marked by a marker in the ceiling, which is where the vortex beam is. And I didn't know it then, and I didn't have any idea what was going to happen. But that presence, both, started saying a prayer, and it was a prayer in thanks for all that is as the Father Creator. When I got to a certain point, I felt my Kundalini just fire and God bumps everywhere, and when that happened, a massive jolt of neutron pulse energy went through the group, and everybody's hands flew up except for the gentleman on my right, who grabbed my head. I tell this story in some of the books. It's absolutely true. He grabbed my head, and we created a completed arcing circuit, and he started pulsing and gyrating like that, and finally after about 15 minutes he ripped his hand off my head and goes, "Whoa, what did you do to me?" And I had no idea on that account, and then he said, "Who are you?" And I was told what to say. You can ask that gentleman. He was in his 80s. He was incredible. A retired electrician, the president of the Knights Templar in the local chapter there, who had just had his Kundalini illumination system turned on by that jolt of energy that we kept allowing to feed us. He has the story, if you want to validate what I'm saying. I don't know if he's still alive, but if he is, he'll validate it. And if he isn't alive, there are those who can validate what I'm saying. Now, I had no idea what had happened until later when I was told. But let's go forward a few days, because one day, a lady who was my Templar guardian guide said, we're going to go to Edinburgh Castle. So we went around that area that day, and went to the see the swans, I think Swan Lake, and then about dusk, about 30 minutes before the castle was supposed to close, she said, let's go up to the castle. You can go into the castle and take a look at it. I've seen it several times. And so I walked into the castle grounds about 30 minutes before the closing, and the weirdest thing was happening. There's like the storm clouds started developing all of a sudden, and of course that castle was built on a major vortex mound. And so I walked in, and I walked through all of these rooms that were glorifying the war that had happened over the eons. Of course, it's run by the British Dragon Monarchy. Anyway, so I go up into the room where the Stone of Destiny is. And there are signs all around, do not take photos. Well, I was about to take a photo, you know. And I was told by somebody standing there, you can't take photos. Okay, so I go downstairs, and then, I don't know, it was like 5 minutes before the place was supposed to close. All the storm clouds are just brewing over here. It looked like some sort of Merlin scene. And I was told to go back up into the room and take a photo, no matter what they said. So I walked back up into the room. The guardians of the room were talking to other people. I turn around, I take a picture of the Stone of Destiny, and my flash went off, and when that happened, there was this humongous crash outside, and the heavens basically just released all of this rain that was like a white milky substance. Anyway, that's the story. I have no idea at this point how all of this is going to manifest or what it's going to look like on the other end, but this song has a prophetic giving that I hope and pray does come true.
Your snow